Well, I think it all came together nicely. Does that have to be right in front of my face? Can we give me a... There we go.
Oh! Goes those... Oh!
Hey guys, welcome back to Athlete Central. Today we're going to talk about one of the mainstays of the biggest MMA organization in the world, UFC. Whenever someone that doesn't know much about MMA is asked about it, they usually only know Conor McGregor and the man who we're talking about today, Joe Rogan. Today we're talking about Rogan's role in the UFC, his podcast, sponsorships, lifestyle, and net worth. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the countdown.
Number 5, UFC career.
Joe Rogan is a very good friend of UFC President Dana White. A good reason for this is the fact that Rogan has been loyal to the UFC from the very beginning. When the organization was still small and not making any money, Rogan worked for them for very little, being an avid MMA fan and believing that the UFC was the future of mixed martial arts, so he started working for them from UFC 12 in 1997. He was forced to quit 2 years later because his television and comedy career wasn't taking off and he couldn't afford to live and travel to the events on his salary.
Hey, don't worry about it, folks. Stay calm. Happens in my apartment every day.
In 2001, Rogan became friends with Dana White, who offered him a job as the color commentator of the UFC. At first, Rogan hesitated, but in 2002, he started working for the company for free throughout its dark ages. The fan favorite finally accepted pay from the UFC after doing about 15 free shows.
The final fights in each weight division, I'll be talking to the fighters. We'll find out who's injured, who's going to be able to continue, and who's going to go in if we need an alternate. Anything we need to know, as soon as I find out, you'll know. Back to you guys.
He remained the voice of the company alongside Mike Goldberg until 2016. After this, his schedule became so packed with some new endeavors that we'll talk about later on in the video. He started only commentating pay-per-view events. Analysts like John Anik, Daniel Cormier, Michael Bisping, Paul Felder, Brendan Fitzgerald, and Dominic Cruz started commentating the fight night events. He's had many iconic moments on the UFC microphone. Here are some of the legendary moments from his broadcasts.
Oh!
That's it. Oh my goodness.
Walk up! Oh! Man, the UFC! Chris Cyborg and Hollis
He's out! He's out!
UFC history! Damn!
Oh my God! He wasn't.
Safe to say, he's come a long way from calling Vitor Belfort Victor on one of his first UFC broadcasts. Rogan brings a very large audience to the UFC. The casual fans might know him from his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. And the fact that he brings on fighters and gives them exposure is a big plus for the company and practically free promotion. Rogan loves mixed martial arts. We'll talk about his passion for the sport in the hobby section, so stay tuned. Joe makes over $50,000 per UFC event and brings his yearly salary up to about $600,000, not including any bonuses his friend Dana White might throw in. Safe to say, he makes a pretty buck talking about the sport he loves so dearly.
Number 4, what else does he do?
Joe Rogan is a busy man. Let's start off with his most successful endeavor, which is of course the #1 podcast in the world, The Joe Rogan Experience. Rogan started it in 2009 with co-host Brian Redband, who was replaced by Jamie Vernon, aka Young Jamie, in 2013. It was first aired on radio, but really took off when Rogan started putting it out on YouTube. His podcasts are very informative. He has a vast variety of guests ranging from people with different political orientations, comedians, actors, performers, health experts, and most relevantly, MMA personalities. The JRE MMA show is separate from the podcast in terms of numbering, giving it its own shine. Stars like Israel Adesanya, Stipe Miocic, GSP, Kamaru Usman, and Jorge Masvidal are among the many stars that have appeared on the show. In 2020, Rogan signed a huge deal with Spotify, giving the platform exclusivity for his podcast and a deal worth a whopping $100 million. Small clips from the podcast are still uploaded to YouTube, but the full version is on Spotify. Rogan only signed the deal with the contingency that they have no creative control over the content. Aside the $100 million for the exclusivity, Joe Rogan earns a reported $50 million annual salary from Spotify. Truly astounding numbers. Rogan is also a stand-up comedian who's had numerous tours and often performs sold-out comedy shows. He's actually planning a tour in 2022 where the average ticket price is around $213. Pretty hefty for a comedy show.
I had a pot gummy bear the other day. I think we can all agree a gummy bear shouldn't be able to steal your soul. Right?
While his earnings from his comedy specials are not public, we can assume he makes a pretty buck from his shows considering the ticket prices. Something else that made Rogan a household name was the popular TV show Fear Factor. The show ran for 6 seasons from 2001 until 2006, vastly increasing Rogan's popularity to allow his podcast to bloom like it has. According to Michael Bisping, Rogan made about $75,000 per episode of Fear Factor, which seems like pennies now, but is an insane amount of money for 99% of the world's population.
Fun fact:
Joe Rogan actually had a fight with one of the contestants on Fear Factor. A couple had to complete one challenge of retrieving something out of a lake that has a crocodile in it. After the woman crumbled to the challenge and one of the other competitive contestants taunted her, she punched him and Rogan stepped in, telling her that she cannot assault anyone. Her husband then confronted Rogan and they got into a scuffle that later got broken up. Check out the video.
Oh my God.
And then all of a sudden they start going at it and I was like, all right, I gotta break this up because Joe's gonna kill him.
Number 3, sponsorships.
Joe Rogan has an immense amount of sponsors. It's actually insane. We won't list all of them in the interest of time, but here, have a quick look. Athletic Greens is one of the more prominent sponsors, a supplement company that Rogan has teamed up with.
I take a giant Athletic Greens every day.
Yeah.
I take a f***ing pallet of vitamins.
What do I need to take?
Other health and athletic sponsors include DDP Yoga, a program that helps people on their fitness adventure, started by former WWE star Diamond Dallas Page, who actually went on popular investing show Shark Tank to pitch the idea, but did not get a deal. Safe to say, the Sharks might have regretted that one. On It is another major supplement company that is also a prominent sponsor of JRE. Other sponsors include grill companies, clothing brands, sunglasses brands, watches, underwear, razors, apps, internet extensions, and even the now giant company Zoom. His earnings from the sponsorships are not public information, but you'd imagine with that many prior sponsors, Joe must have laughed all the way to the bank.
Number 2, family and hobbies.
Let's start off with Rogan's early life. He was born in Newark, New Jersey in 1967. He has one sister and their upbringing was pretty tough. Their parents divorced when Joe was only 5 and he hasn't been in contact with his father since the age of 7. His mother was a victim of domestic violence and she must be very proud that she was able to raise such a child all on her own. Rogan started his own family in 2009, marrying Jessica Ditzel, a former waitress who Joe Rogan met at a bar in 2001. She is a former model and account executive. She has a daughter from a previous relationship, Kaja Rose, who is now Rogan's stepdaughter, and he has a good relationship with her. The couple have 2 daughters, Lola and Rose Rogan, who are 14 and 12 respectively.
My youngest we were playing the other day in the pool, and there was a point in time we were just laughing about something together, just laughing, and I'm looking at her face and she's laughing, and I felt like I was on drugs. I was like, The love that I have for these people is so intense. It's also, I didn't get that when I was a kid.
Let's get into Rogan's hobbies, and there are a lot of them. Let's start off with martial arts, something Rogan has dedicated a lot of time to. He started training karate and wrestling as a teenager, which he saw as a way to not be inferior to his peers. At 15, he made a transition from karate to taekwondo, something he's very well known for, if you have not seen the video of him. He received his black belt in the discipline within a year. He held the Massachusetts Full Contact Taekwondo Championship for a whopping 4 years from the ages of 15 to 19. He also won the US Open Taekwondo Championship, competing at lightweight, and then beating the middleweight and heavyweight champs to claim the Grand Championship. At 27 years old, Joe started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu after seeing Royce Gracie win the first ever UFC tournament, training under his cousin Carlson Gracie and receiving his black belt in 2012, 18 years after starting out in the martial art. He is also very passionate about hunting, going on a carnivore diet for a while that he claimed changed his life. He hunts a lot of things, including deer, but his primary target is elk meat. Other hobbies include billiards, which he has gambled on extensively, claiming he has to play 8 hours to get warmed up and reach peak performance. Archery is another one of his passions. He's spent thousands of dollars on archery equipment alone. Joe also loves spa-like treatments that cleanse his body. He actually has a room in his house made especially for that. He believes it's crucial for the mind and body to be at peace, which is why he also does yoga.
Number 1. Spending.
With the amount of money Rogan has made over the years and a net worth of a whopping $100 million, it's not surprising that he's spent buckets of cash on real estate, cars, and much more. He used to live in LA in a very luxurious home that he ended up selling for $3.5 million in 2020 and moved to Austin, Texas, buying a very big home for a whopping $14 million. His move to Texas is suspected to be due to the lenient taxation laws. In terms of cars, the first one he ever owned was a 1973 Chevrolet Chevelle that goes for a modest $18,000, but that does not in any way compare to his current collection of 5 cars. He owns a $100,000 Tesla Model S P100D, which he primarily drives, a $50,000 1971 Ford Bronco, a $200,000 1993 Porsche 964, a $50,000 2005 BMW E46 M3, and a $100,000 1970 Plymouth Sickfish Barracuda. Joe spent a fortune on a fitness warehouse in his old podcast studio, where he had a gym and a sauna. His current warehouse has a combat sports section and a float tank, which is a sensory deprivation tank that has water heated to the human body temperature, filled with Epsom salt to imitate floating, which is worth $30,000. Rogan also owns a vast collection of Casio G-Shock watches, which collectively are worth thousands of dollars. Another collection passion of his are firearms. He has an immense selection, most of which are worth north of $1,000. Well, that wraps up today's video about the #1 podcaster in the world and the voice of the UFC, Joe Rogan. What has been your favorite Joe Rogan commentary moment? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to hit the like buttons and subscribe to never miss a video. Until next time, stay safe.
Back to you guys.